Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 16. Today, we will deal with the early parts of the starter base. This will involve redirecting all the remaining mining operations toward the logistics network, so we can start using those resources in the proper base. Once that's done, we will be free to tear up the old smelting arrays, and replace them with planetary towers, which will supply the same exact resources, so the current mall can keep on chugging along. We will also finish up the remaining smelting towers, and get them ready for the eventual blueprinting. And near the end, we will also revisit our shields on Vulcan. Their charge rate is so slow that we will need to deal with one enemy outpost. Before we get started, I would love it if you subscribe to the channel, and clicking the like button will let me know that this video was worth making. If you want to help me make a living off this one day, please consider becoming a channel member, where you will get an early access to the videos as I make them, and for a one-time donation, you can find a link to my Ko-fi page in the description. But enough talking, let's get into it. Okay, time to deal with the starter base, at least parts of it. For that, we will need some planetary towers, which act as a replacement for the existing infrastructure. We will start right at the beginning, and slowly work our way through the place. First, we will take away all the raw ores, and redirect them into the logistics network, so the old smelters can be replaced by the new ones. After the supply of raw materials are cut off, we can start tearing up the old furnaces. They will be able to find a new home in one of the many smelting towers in the future. After they are gone, we can replace them with a single planetary tower, and use that to keep supplying the rest of the base with what it needs. This is mainly to keep them all going. Eventually all the assemblers will be demolished too. We can try to deal with the copper next. First we redirect the raw ores toward the tower. Since the last tower was already full, we will need to place another one. We can use that for the steel and copper replacement. Next, let's do the stone bricks. We want to get rid of everything, but that foundation factory is still a decent little array, so we will keep it around for a little longer. We didn't end up moving this glass to anywhere, we only used it to pick some up whenever we needed to craft something. In the end, we will just feed it into the tower, and pick the furnaces up once empty. We can also pick up some of the superfluous little outposts, like this graphite furnace setup. We only used it to fuel the mecha in the early game, now it is quite unnecessary. We should also tap into all the remaining ore deposits we can find, so we can continue strip mining the planet. Hey, it's the old electric engine factory. When did we build this one? Episode 1? 2? Either way, we really don't need to keep it around. We just redirect the copper into the towers, and we can do what we've been doing in this whole episode. It seems I forgot to limit the amount stored in that chest. Oh well, we have plenty of engines now, so I deleted what we couldn't fit in the inventory, and shoved the rest into one of the towers to spread them around. I didn't want to deal with the assemblers right now, they are still good enough to keep them all going, so they aren't completely useless just yet. Well, I think we can spend the next couple minutes sorting out the remaining smelting towers. Thankfully they only require us to extend the furnace columns, put down the substations, and they should be as good as done. Good thing we have the neighboring arrays as a measuring stick, we don't need to worry about counting stuff, we can just follow their length. Now that it's all done, we can check that everything is all right with the blueprint tool. If the number of buildings are correct, we can rest assured that we did everything right. And it seems we did. Now, of course there could be an inserter facing the wrong way or something, but we did copy entire columns, so if I did make such a big mistake, it will be pretty visible later on. It seems the flow of stone bricks is at a standstill. For some reason, the logistics seem to favor the glass production, and there is no stone making its way to the brick furnaces. Oh well, it will sort itself out eventually. We can try to give them their own drones, maybe that way they can reserve some stone for themselves, instead of having to rely on the mercy of the supplier tower. Anyways, time to sort out the last remaining furnace array, namely the copper one. After this, we will be pretty much done with these upgrades. One substation short. Well, we have plenty of long-range towers now, so making more should be trivial. There. We now have all our existing furnace setups up to speed. If we ever run out of one of these, we just place down another, and carry on. Well, it seems we did everything as we should, so we can move on to other things. The main problem is, the bricks are still not being made. We need those to make the foundations, and without those, we cannot really expand the equatorial tower ring. Also, I didn't see much change in the glass towers either. The output buffer was full, but the incoming stone was still piling in. My working theory about that is that the furnaces are still filling up, and that can take a little while. To help the situation, how about we set up some extra stone mining? We have a couple of deposits here, so it's as good a place as any. See that autosave? That's where we will pick things back up, because I will end up getting into a bit of a scuffle with the dark fog in a minute. Well, since we're here, might as well start mining this coal too. Once we reload to that autosave, we will not do this particular mining setup, so don't get too attached. There we go. We have some red alert icons on top, meaning we have buildings being destroyed. And it seems the victims are on Vulcan. Our shield coverage couldn't expand fast enough to prevent landings, so we need to deal with this before it gets worse. I got a bit too complacent, and ended up being destroyed. Well, it's time to reload the game. I seriously considered cutting this part out, but then I decided not to. Might as well show that everyone makes mistakes. Also, you might be wondering, how come I didn't have any metadata to rebuild the mecha? Well, as you might know, I like to experiment with things between episodes, so I know what to expect from the new features. During these experiments, I ended up being destroyed enough times to deplete the blue metadata. No real problem, we will get a lot more as we ramp up research as we expand. Anyways, we arrived earlier than the last time, and the plasma towers were not yet operational. Good, makes it a lot easier to dispatch this outpost. No wonder they managed to land, the shield coverage is nowhere where it should be. It's getting there, but it could be better. To speed things up, I decided to place down a second row of windmills. Some of the shield emitters are already on the cusp of reaching full coverage. After that point, they will stop expanding, but they will keep on accumulating more and more energy into their batteries, extending the health of the dome. Okay, we will need to plug up this hole. And no, I still don't want to place a geothermal generator on them. It would just end up being in the way of our future smelting arrays. Good, those extra stone mines were enough to restart the brick production. We have foundations being made again. Okay, we are missing a couple windmills, but nothing major. We will just need to drop by whenever we have the time. Now that the resource issues are sorted with the foundations, how about we upgrade them to Mark II assemblers? That little bit of a boost will only benefit us in the long run. And I just noticed that we were out of research projects, so let's add some more to the queue. I think we might as well take care of the remaining yellow technologies, and get ready for the purple ones. Then we can just put a couple upgrades at the end if we have room. We have some gas harvesters ready, let's put them down. But before that, we might as well pay a visit to Vulcan, and deal with those last few windmills. I really wish landing on the gas giants was less of a pain. Sometimes we really need to force it to happen. Well, that was as exciting as always. Can't wait to have even faster drones. Their current speed is still painfully slow for this kind of a job. We have 2 enemy bases on Minerva right now. This gave me an idea for the next potential project. How about we set up a small ring of missile turrets near one of the poles on that planet? When we can start strip mining, it will be quite beneficial to have a good source of firepower to rely on there. Now, I don't expect those missile turrets to see any massive action, so I think the current setup making the ammo will be enough. Okay, that should be enough turrets for now. Let's set up the tower that will actually put rockets on the network though. We will need a way to ship them to Minerva after all. We should place this ring of turrets somewhere near the pole, but not too close. Let's go with this one. First, we place down all the turrets we carry, and then we set up the ammo and power for them. Okay, now they only need power to operate. A row of windmills on either side should do the trick. Okay. The turrets are loaded, they have power. Let's give them a try. Now that's what I like to see. These beasts will melt through any base that we need to get out of the way. And setting up future defenses should be a lot easier for the mining too. Instead of doing individual turrets for each site, we just place down a signal tower, and that will call in strikes as needed. They managed to chew through that base in mere seconds. I think we can call this little experiment a success. But I think this is where we will leave it for today. This one might have been a bit slower than usual. We had a couple instances where we had to slowly go around building stuff, but hey, slow progress is still progress. Plus we did manage to cram in a bit of excitement at the end. As for our future plans, I think we have enough gas harvesters at the point to consider tearing up the old oil refineries, and switching over to the new ones exclusively. We should be able to clear away enough land now to keep on expanding the ring of towers. We already have a lot of stuff on it, and this is where some of the more high-tech items will start coming into play, and we better get on that. We are getting close to the end of the current level of research. Once we reach it, we will need to start doing the next one right away, so we should focus on sorting that one out ASAP. Anyways, if you haven't done it already, I would love it if you subscribe to the channel, and clicking the like button will also help letting me know that the video was worth making. If you would like to help me make a living off this one day, please consider becoming a channel member, where you will get an early access to the videos as I make them. And if you want to give a one-time donation, you can find a link to my Ko-fi page in the description. Thank you for your support, and I will see you in the next one.